This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more. Stuff at Sea is a 5-night adults-only sailing trip that brings the Stuff podcast universe to life on board. This voyage is a culture-soaked escape where pink sand paradise meets curious minds. Sailing round trip from New York City to Bermuda on October 2nd to 7th, 2026, this voyage drops you straight into the iHeart Podcast Stuff universe. On top of the adults-only experience you already love, you'll get live podcast episode recordings, behind-the-scenes sessions, themed activations, and more unmissable onboard moments. Learn more at virginvoyages.com/stuff.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh Clark. There's Charles W. Chuck Bryant, and there's guest producer, who's actually a real producer too, Dave Kooston.
So guest producer in your mind means ghost producer?
No, I don't think he's dead. Are you dead, Dave?
Well, not a real producer? I don't know. What's going on here?
So he is the producer of Short Stuff, which is technically a spin-off of Stuff You Should Know, but he's here sitting in for Jerry on Stuff You Should Know, which would make him a guest in this particular context.
Okay.
But enough about that. I was just saying all that to welcome everybody. Now it's ruined forever.
Sorry.
Instead, Chuck, I think that we should talk about conservatorships. And before you say anything, hold on, no. Before you say anything.
Inhale.
Yeah. I understand. I think everybody who didn't realize what episode they were listening to just inhaled too. I searched high and low for something to relate this to in the real world. It could find like nothing. So this is probably going to be a fairly boring, dry episode on, legalities and the legal system with no application to real life and certainly no application to pop culture whatsoever. So buckle up, everybody. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Oops, you did it again.
Oh, I happen to be wearing a Catholic schoolgirl skirt right now, too.
Yeah, so this obviously came to me because of the Britney Spears situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about Britney Spears and didn't know a lot about her situation other than loosely hearing about it in the news. But the more I poked around, the more I was like, man, this really smacks of sort of the old days, like, Your Honor, my wife or my daughter is crazy and we need to do something about this. And I use that terminology because that's kind of how it used to go back in the day. And sadly, that kind of stuff still happens through things like conservatorships. And so it turns out that it's a pretty straightforward thing. But in her case, the waters are pretty muddy.
Yeah, well, she's a really rare case. The only other person I can think of that even comes close to fitting the bill for this very rare type of conservatorship that Britney Spears has is Amanda Bynes, who is another child star who kind of publicly melted down, I guess you could put it, and whose mother got her into conservatorship, which I think she's still under today, and bristles under it publicly too. So most of the time when you're talking about conservatorships, which is basically one person legally having the ability and authority to make decisions on behalf of somebody else, you're talking about somebody who has gone into a coma, somebody who has had cognitive difficulties, maybe for life.
Yeah.
Somebody
or just suffering from Alzheimer's or something like that. Yeah, something
like that. Much more often than not. It's something that's part of elder law, a conservatorship is. So it's really, it's rare. Weird. You can just say weird. It's very weird that Britney Spears, a very healthy, with it, active, I think she's like 30 something, early 30s right now. No, late 30s. I think she's 39. She would be in a conservatorship, but she has been since she was 26, and maybe she's coming out of it. No one can say for sure. It's kind of looked like, well, of course they're going to let her out of it multiple times in the past. But it seems like, from what I understand now, she might actually finally get out from under this conservatorship at this point. Who knows? Yeah.
So just a little quick background, if you didn't know, and not to get too in the weeds, but in 2008, Britney Spears had what people have described online as a kind of a public meltdown. Her family was worried about her. She was hospitalized for mental health issues.
Twice.
A couple of times. She famously shaved her head and was very aggressive with the paparazzi. And, it's very easy for some people, I guess, in her family to say, hey, she has some mental issues. She needs some help. Let me step in and establish a conservatorship. But it's also easy as an outsider to look back now and say, hey, she went through some stuff. Mm-hmm. The paparazzi is awful and terrible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what might you do in that situation? And maybe she just needed a little assistance to get through a particular time in her life. And here we are in 2021, all these years later, and she still has her father basically in charge of the decisions of her life financially and with her health and in certain cases her career. And she's trying to get him out of there first and foremost as her conservator, and also trying to get the conservatorship itself dissolved.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that makes her case so gut-wrenching is that basically her worst enemy, her father, was put in charge of her life against her will. And she's lived like that for 13 years. So, well, I mean, we'll talk about how her case applies, throughout the episode for sure. But just to kind of like lay down the groundwork for what a conservatorship is, apparently there's not one set legal definition. Like, you could very easily just basically say it's where somebody's legally in charge of somebody else's decisions. Some states call it guardianship, other states call it conservatorship. But the whole point of it is that somebody has been deemed unable to make good decisions for themselves, to sometimes physically take care of themselves, or maybe even both. And so the court has been petitioned to kind of give someone else the ability to make those decisions, to take care of that person. And the point of it, if you take away the whole Britney Spears thing and any kind of sketchiness that can kind of pervade this whole kind of this legal weirdness, it's kind of an act of love to step in and say, this person is in really bad, dire straits right now, and I will help them while they're going through this, or possibly for the rest of their lives. I'm willing to take care of their needs and see to it that they're taken care of. That's what it's supposed to be about at base.
Sure. And ideally, that's how it goes down. There is not a lot of data about conservatorships and how often they are petitioned to get uninstated. Is that a word?
I think it's removed.
I like uninstated.
I like it too. It's a great word now.
Okay. I just made up a new word, everyone.
You could win Boggle with that, Chuck.
And we'll get to the, why that is a little bit later. But when you petition a court, what happens is there's an evaluation that the court orders of this person who is known as a conservatee, and the person in charge is the conservator. Mm-hmm. And there's an attorney appointed to represent them, and they hold a hearing and they decide whether or not this is something that they should move forward with. There's an evaluation done. The person is allowed to speak on their behalf at this time. It's not the kind of thing where you can just be railroaded. And I'm not exactly sure the details of Britney Spears when it first happened, as far as if she was like, yeah, this is for the best right now, or if she fought it from the beginning.
No.
But I think she was, you're saying no to which one?
To the first, that she was in favor of it. I'll tell you in a second.
All right. Well, go ahead.
You want me to tell you now? We don't have to wait a second any longer? Okay, I'll fill you in, Chuck. Get this.
I watched some of the documentary, but I had other things to do.
I saw the documentary too. It was surprisingly ho-hum and totally one-sided. I thought it was really kind of gross in a lot of ways, but interesting for sure. But I also read a really good New Yorker article, a recent one from July 3rd, I think, called Britney Spears' Conservatorship Nightmare by Ronan Farrow and Gia Tolentino, two top-notch reporters. And it is just a moment-by-moment breakdown on, Britney's breakdown, and then also like how she ended up in it. And from this and other sources, I saw that basically she was not informed that she was being placed into conservatorship beforehand, which from what I can tell is a gross violation of her rights in that sense. And that she didn't have a chance to petition the court to basically say no. And then by the time she found out about it and tried to petition it, she was told that she was not in any kind of mental state to hire her own counsel. And so she had counsel appointed to her.
So she never had an evaluation?
So the judge in this case is now retired. And she said that that is not true. Of course, she was evaluated, and I talked to her and all that stuff. But the way that this is described is it was a 10-minute thing, and it was they went in and as far like on the surface, her parents went in and petitioned the judge, and 10 minutes later, the judge granted temporary conservatorship without any other formalities. That's how it is, on its face. And then the judge is denying that there was any backroom deals or anything made beforehand. So it doesn't really make sense, and it kind of stinks to high heaven in that respect.
Yeah, what did she think was going on then?
Who, Britney?
Yeah. When she was evaluated.
That's the thing. I don't know that she was evaluated. She had just undergone two 5150s where the basically the state
Two Van Halens?
Two. Not just one, two. She had a 5150 and an OU 812.
Oh man.
So the 5150 is where somebody can basically say this person is mentally unstable right now. They may be a harm to themselves or others, and the fire department comes and gets you and takes you off to a hospital where you're kept against your will for 24, 48, 72 hours. That happened to her twice, and upon the second one, her parents went and petitioned the court to grant them conservatorship, and the court did. I don't know anything about an evaluation that actually took place as part of the conservatorship. I get the impression that it was like, oh, she said 2 5150s, that's enough for me.
Interesting. By the way, we can't say that without shouting out listener Aaron Hagar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Rock on, Aaron.
We have to.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so there are some different types of conservatorships. One is financial, and they often work hand in hand and sometimes kind of have to. Mm-hmm. Financial, obviously, is when you are in charge of someone's finances. The conservatee themselves have autonomy, but they don't have financial autonomy. They can't, go out and buy a house or rent a house or make any big purchases or maybe even any kind of purchases without the conservator sort of being there along the way saying it's fine.
Yeah. And I think they also have, they generally have spending money. They're given an allowance.
Right.
So they'll have that at least. But yeah, for the big purchases, no way.
Physical is when their health and basically medical decisions, their health and their life, kind of everything is controlled by the conservator. I know I'm going to mess it up at some point. Whether or not they want to go to a therapist or whether or not they want to have certain medications. Supposedly you can't make someone take medication legally, but it, again, especially in her case, it gets very murky with some of the charges she's levied against her father as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, on that in particular, what I saw was that the carrot and the stick that her father uses against her is visitation rights for her to see her kids.
Brutal.
Because that was definitely one thing that came through in a lot of stuff I've been reading, is that she is super dedicated to her kids, and they've been just kept from her for, their basically their whole lives. And that was ultimately what really led to her meltdown. The paparazzi didn't help, and, just being a star.
Public divorce.
All of that stuff did not help. But it was, it's her kids that is really the dagger that just gets turned in her chest every time, she had to leave or they had to leave. And that her father dangles that over her. If you don't do this, if you don't sign this contract and do these performances, I can't let you see the kids or whatever. So that's
because he gets a cut.
He does. He gets 1.5% of all new deals too.
Yeah, and she's made a lot of money in the past, years that she's been locked down. She's had a very successful Vegas run. She had a couple of big albums. She's been guest judges on a couple of the big competition shows. So she's out there earning a lot of money still.
Right.
For her and Pops.
Yeah.
There's general conservatorships, and that is when it's kind of everything. And these are more common. It's kind of rare, it seems like, for there to be only a physical conservatorship without being a financial, because those things are probably kind of go hand in hand.
Right.
So general is all-encompassing. And then you have your limited conservatorship, where it's usually this is a case where it may be like, let's say an adult that's disabled in some way that still wants to have and can have autonomy, physical autonomy, and maybe hold down a job and have their own apartment, but there's just certain parts of their life that a conservator will handle.
Right. So everything I saw is that limited is what you're ultimately going for when you're establishing a conservatorship. You want to minimize the number of restrictions necessary to help the person through their life while maximizing their individual liberties.
Yes.
So
that's when it goes down like it should.
And it's not supposed to be a one-size-fits-all, like, boom, this person has all control over them. It's like, how much do you need? How much do they need to give up? That's supposed to be the goal of a conservatorship hearing. Yeah.
And then you've got sometimes they're categorized by their length. You can have short-term, temporary, or permanent. With short-term, usually it's not more than a few months than 90 days. And it's because of something that happened. It's an immediate need. These can sometimes go down without that formal hearing that we were talking about, because it is short-term and capped off at a certain point. That is different than temporary, though. Temporary can turn into permanent. Yeah. Whereas I don't think short-term can.
Yeah, I think temporary is where they're like, okay, this person may get better at some point, but we have no idea when. But when they do get better, they're going to want to have their life back, so let's just make this temporary. Short-term is where I saw that it's frequently used for when somebody is going into like drug rehab or something like that, and they have like a lot of plates in the air or a lot of finances. Although one of the things that I saw is that finances are not supposed to be a reason for conservatorship, right? It's supposed to be to help
I'm afraid they'll spend all their money.
Yes, that's supposed to not be a justification for conservatorship. And the problem that I have from the outside with Britney Spears' conservatorship is that it seems to be 100% predicated on that.
Yeah, it seems that way.
That it's almost like this poor person, her brand grew bigger than her. And so to protect the brand from potentially her, spending it into the ground or whatever. Yeah. They placed her in conservatorship so that she can't make decisions about her own brand. And then that's being kind of reflected on her own life. So she's being held hostage against, and also being forced to perform. It's one of the most bizarre things I think that's ever happened in the legal system. And especially it's nuts that it's been ongoing for so long too.
And so public, It's a very interesting case. All right, let's take a break. Yay?
Yay.
All right, no nays. Dave's not saying nay.
No.
What if Dave just piped in and was like,
No, keep going. Keep going. I'm the conservator here.
We'll be back right after this.
Joshua and Charles, stuff you should know.
Hey everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well designed, and they can be well designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience saved time, reduced hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful, it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
If you want to know, then you're in luck. Just listen up to Josh and Chuck. Stuff you should know.
So, Chuck, there was one other type of conservatorship by duration that we didn't mention that is apparently pretty typical, which is permanent.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned that. I guess I thought it was self-explanatory.
No.
It's permanent.
Go on.
Well, it's permanent in spirit, but you can, as we're seeing now, file to have it removed or I don't even know that word I coined earlier.
Unreinstated.
I don't even think that was it.
I'm sorry, re-uninstated.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know that either.
So, non-instated?
See, the whole point of coining new words is you got to be able to use them at the, drop of a hat.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes some practice. You know what I'm saying, man?
I know.
So the reason permanent, though, is so typical as far as conservatorships go is because most of the time when you end up in conservatorship, it's because you suffered some sort of very debilitating problem, or you've had it your whole life. Like it's a long-term issue that you're dealing with. So this is a long-term solution, a permanent conservatorship.
Right. And that really ties hand in hand with kind of the next part about how to get one. It is usually almost always because of some sort of mental incapacity of some form, whether that's temporary or, like you said earlier, for a temporary, like, someone's in an accident and they're in a coma, but they come out of the coma in 2 weeks and then, work their way back to good health again.
And they wake up and they're like, Ricky Lake, we're engaged now?
Ricky Lake. Wow. You really pulled that one out of some dark place.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
We mentioned stuff like dementia and Alzheimer's. That is a very, very common case for conservatorships. Or if you have, like you said, from birth, if you have some sort of permanent disability, no matter how that came about, then that's, oftentimes like parents or some other family member just from the time you're a kid have that conservatorship.
Yeah, and basically there's like a 2-pronged test to applying a conservatorship. I'm going to say it correctly the first time one of these times in this episode, I promise.
You can't even say conservative.
No, I can't. Man, that's great, Chuck. So is the person unable to basically meet their own basic needs, like care for themselves, feed themselves, that kind of stuff? In which case there would be a conservatorship of the person where you can make like medical decisions for them, maybe living arrangements, like decide if they're going to live in a long-term care facility, something like that. Or can they make decisions for themselves which are sound financially? Like, can they understand a contract that they're signing? Can they understand that if they, buy this house, that they have to pay this amount of money or something? Like, and if they can't do either or both of those things, then a conservatorship might be just the thing to kind of help them make it through life, especially, again, if they have substantial wealth or if they are just totally unable to care for themselves.
Yeah, and the way this goes down, ideally, and I think more typically than what we're seeing in Britney Spears' cases, medical records are presented. The probate or family court is handling this. The conservatee is either understands and goes along with it because they know it's for their own good, or is clearly not capable, which is why they need the conservator to begin with, of making these decisions. And again, it's just super rare for this kind of case where someone is having something done seemingly against their will, kind of from the get-go. Yeah,
I mean, like for the most part, if you're in a conservatorship, like you might not even be conscious. You might have no idea that you're under a conservatorship.
Sure.
You might not be able to work or hold down a job or remember to feed yourself. You're certainly not going on world tour and releasing 4 albums, 2 of which go platinum, and then maintaining a Vegas residency and generating $130 million in income over 10, 13 years, something like that. It just it's just so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And I have to say also one other thing. I don't want to give the impression that I'm just like a hashtag Free Britney person. Like, I understand that those people have just the best intentions, and my hat is off to them. But I also think it's very, very wise to remember, like, we're seeing all this from the outside. Most of the court documents involved are sealed. And so there's a lot of like tea leaf reading and trying to figure out what's really going on here. And it's entirely possible that this conservatorship has kind of helped Britney. Like, the people who have been involved and defend it say, she had a couple $1 million left. Some of the worst people in the world surrounding her. Her money was going fast. Her brand was starting to go. And now she's worth like $60 to $80 million. She's back on top. She doesn't have a bunch of scummy people hanging around her. And then the scummy people are like, no, these people came in and wrestled control of Britney's own life, and now they're in charge of her, and they're bilking her for money. So it's really impossible to tell who to trust at this point in time. So I think it's wise to at least keep something of an open mind, even if it seems totally on the surface like this pop star is being held prisoner in public.
Right. Well, when you need those tea leaves read, who you get.
Hold on. I don't know.
You get Ronan Farrow.
That's right. He
AKA
can read them.
Frank Sinatra Jr.
That's right. No, he's Junior, right?
Oh, well, I mean,
he supposedly
Frank's
son?
No, I mean, he's supposedly Woody Allen's son, but
he doesn't
looks
look
more
like Woody
Frank
Allen's
Sinatra
son.
or Woody
No,
Allen.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not the first person. I mean, it's a big thing online. Like, come on,
sure.
That's Frank's kid.
Sure.
But who knows? Supposedly not. I don't know.
Okay. Boy, we're just hitting the celebrity beat all over the place.
Do you remember Kids Beat on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
See you next time on Kids Beat. That popped into my head the other day out of nowhere. And I was like, did I just make that up? That was a thing, though.
I don't remember anything but that catchphrase, that sign off.
Same here.
Nothing else.
Maybe we had a group hallucination.
It's possible, like the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, that's right. What's that called? Something effect?
The Mandela effect. Yeah.
All right. So in her case in California, in this How Stuff Works article that we got a lot of this from highlights this. It is different in every state with a lot of legalities like this. So it will differ depending on where you are. But in California, they have something called the Judicial Council of California's Handbook for Conservators, where it does lay out about a dozen rights of someone like Britney Spears, which one of which is they can directly receive their salary. So supposedly she, it's not like the check's getting written to Jamie Spears and he doles it out. Right. Supposedly by law, she is receiving her salary still.
Oh, that's not at all what I heard.
Oh, really?
She has her living expenses met, and they total about $425,000 a year. So she has everything she wants, but she doesn't pay for anything herself. She says,
Well, that
I want
doesn't
this or I
mean-
need this.
That doesn't mean that the check isn't made out in her name.
Oh,
you
no,
know
no,
what I'm
no,
saying?
no. Absolutely. You're right. But the whole her dad doling it out, that's 100% true. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm just saying is like the check doesn't come in his name.
Yeah, no, it's all in her name still.
Right.
Agreed.
So, the right to receive calls and mail and see people. You can change your will legally. You can get married. You can hire your own lawyer, which has been a big bone of contention with the Britney Spears case because she had this court-appointed lawyer for many, many years until very recently when she was finally like, can I at least hire my own person? And they did allow that.
The whole Free Britney crew has basically been like that lawyer is chummy with her dad.
Right.
Like he's working for her dad rather than her, you know? It might have been. That's why at the beginning I was saying like she might finally be getting out from under this conservatorship because she has a new lawyer of her own choosing.
There's a new sheriff in town.
There is, and everybody's running for the hills.
What we're seeing play out now are another couple of things on the list. The request to either change conservators or end the conservatorship. They are allowed to vote. They're allowed to control their own allowance, but it doesn't. That very clearly doesn't mean they're allowed to establish their own allowance.
Yeah, or what the amount is or anything, yeah.
Their medical decisions and business transactions should be under their control. And was there one more?
So basically anything you're allowed to do at the beginning of it, the conservatorship, you should be able to throughout. There were a couple of things in there that and that was, I think, California's rights, right?
Yeah.
So this is a California case. She's under a California conservatorship. So all of those should very much apply to her. But she said recently that like her father won't let her get married. He decides who she can date or not date.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that's legal, but I think he can threaten like
visitation.
Not just visitation, like restraining orders. He can take out restraining orders in her name against whomever he deems like inappropriate, and I guess can demonstrate to the court that this person might be a bad influence on her, and that's probably how he has been able to decide who she dates or doesn't date, because she wants to marry a dude right now, she says, and have more kids. And the really truly shocking revelation that she revealed recently is that she has an IUD that her father won't let her remove.
Yeah.
So she can't have kids. So her reproductive rights are being infringed upon under this conservatorship. And that is a very big deal.
Yeah. And again, this is the kind of stuff where there's two sides talking and we don't know the real truth on the inside. But at the very least, like when an accusation like that big is levied, you have to, I would think as the court, have to look into that kind of thing.
Yeah, and there have been court-appointed investigators before, and one of them I read concluded like she should probably not be under this conservatorship anymore. It wasn't like, they joined the Free Britney crowd or anything like that, but that was their report and their recommendation. But it's like you're saying, we're seeing this from the outside, so like the people who are on the inside in this conservatorship point out like, she wasn't worth very much then, and she is now. So she's kind of thriving under this arrangement, which is apparently a way that somebody could end up in a conservatorship for the rest of their life.
Right.
Is thriving under the conservatorship. And then conversely, if you struggle under the conservatorship and have a really hard time, that can be used as evidence that you need to be under the conservatorship as well. So you kind of get this impression that it's like if you're like a with it person able to make your own decisions and you find yourself in a conservatorship, you probably feel like you're just totally out of your mind and just can't believe this is happening to you. It sounds nightmarish if it's like as bad as from what Britney's saying it is, Well, yeah, and I'm sure she's in a case where she's trying to establish something a little more nuanced, like emotional well-being, rather than like a judge can say, look at all this money you've made since this has happened. And, right.
there's a lot more to it than that, though. It's to be a whole human.
Well, that's another thing, too, though. So the original co-conservator, along with Jamie Spears, Britney's father, was a guy named Andrew Wallet, and he was court-appointed.
Oh, boy.
Terrible name for a conservator.
Terrible.
Like, he should have just been like, I can't be a conservator because of my last name. But he was.
Andrew COD.
And he was for many, many, many years, actually. And actually was under his conservatorship or co-conservatorship that she kind of like came back and started working again and started making money again. And I guess kind of thrived, at least as a business. And he was basically run out of the conservatorship on a rail because he asked for a salary toward the end of $426,000 a year, which is a lot of money. The thing is, his point was like, look, if you're a conservator, basically under normal circumstances, you're just kind of keeping up with somebody's quiet life, one everyday person and their quiet life and their little finances and making sure they're taken care of. As conservator of Britney Spears' estate, he was like running basically a international business that had all these fingers and all these pots. And he said most people who are in that position make millions of dollars a year. I'm asking for $426,000. So like that to me was a real reminder like, oh yeah, there's actually two sides of this coin. Like this is an unusual situation for anybody. And it kind of makes sense in that respect. Although if you look at the normal amount that a conservator would charge for their time, he was asking for a lot actually.
Yeah, and that's a good point. As far as your obligation as conservator, you, and again, put Britney Spears aside for a second, in these ideal situations, they are genuinely taking care of these people, meeting their daily needs and necessities, making sure all their bills are paid and their checkbook is balanced and, they don't go in the hole financially. The big hooking point here, though, is that if you're a financial conservator, you are not supposed to be using that person's money for your own benefit. Like you said, you are allowed to take a salary, and it says in this article somewhere between $40 and $100 per hour, which means Jamie Spears is taking $100 per hour at 40 hours a week because he's getting $16,000 a month. And that's what it comes to, like the basically the top rate at 40 hours per week.
Right.
Which, when you look at that, I mean, if that, he, like you said, though, he also gets a cut of her stuff. To play devil's advocate, he is taking a salary commensurate with what a conservator historically can take.
Yeah, so Andrew Wallet, if you look at it from the perspective, well, he's a conservator and not actually like running the business, then he'd have to work more than 80 hours a week, 50 weeks a year at $100 an hour. But again, his point was this isn't a normal conservatorship. This is running the Britney Spears multinational enterprise for her benefit,
Yeah, and if you're the conservator, you also, you're going to at some point probably have to answer to the court, especially in a case like this. So you got to have all your ducks in a row. You've got to keep receipts, and you've got to have a paper trail to kind of back up everything. You can't just waltz in there and say, like, trust me, everything's going fine. Yeah. Supposedly, you're going to have pretty robust records for kind of every financial decision you're making on behalf of your conservatee. So
that's ideally. Now we reach the reality, and this is one good thing of Britney Spears' conservatorship and all the light she's shining on conservatorship abuse right now, is like this is an issue in normal like non-celebrity society where people can get preyed upon by basically a professional conservator. And there was a General Accounting Office report that basically said the states have no idea how many of its citizens or residents are under conservatorship right now, how much money is being held in conservatorship right now. They might have a good idea in some cases. In other cases, they have no idea. And as part of the report, the GAO basically made up identities in like 4 different states around the country and applied for conservatorship. And they were granted in all 4 cases or all 4 states conservatorship to go out and be a conservator to a stranger and take control of some stranger's finances as part of as their career. And the states didn't check their background, didn't run their social security numbers, didn't do a credit check, didn't do anything. They just basically rubber stamped it. Like, this person wants to be a conservator. There you go. You're a state licensed conservator now who can go take control of the finances of someone who's never even met you before. And like, in that respect, this is ripe for abuse. This is the kind of situation where a judge is morally obligated to give as much attention to each case as needed to make sure, 110% sure, that the person under conservatorship is not being exploited, is not being taken advantage of financially, is not being kept, I think they call it isolated, medicated, and liquidated, and kept away from their family and their loved ones. It can be a nightmare unless the court is overseeing this properly. And apparently in all cases they don't, which is just unconscionable. And judges who drop the ball on that should be run out of town, right into jail themselves.
All right, well, let's take a break.
Thanks for backing me up on that one.
And we'll be back right after this to talk about how you can end these things and some legislation that might could help as well, right after this.
Learning stuff with Joshua and Charles. Stuff you should know.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful, it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
If you want to know, then you're in luck. Just listen up to Josh and Chuck. Stuff you should know.
All right. So I mentioned before we get into how you can terminate this, this sort of dovetails with your great soapbox moment right before the break, if I may say.
Yeah, I remember.
There's legislation as of about an hour and a half ago. I read this on New York Times.
Wait a minute. It was published an hour and a half, or you just read it an hour and a half ago?
It was published an hour and a half ago.
Wow, that is late breaking.
For stuff you should know, this is super late breaking. 2 members of the House co-sponsored, and when you see these bills co-sponsored on both sides of the aisles for these kind of smaller bills, that's when you know that government can work. Was it Senator Lance Bass and Senator Joey Fatone? That's good.
Thank you.
Co-sponsors Rep. Charlie Crist, a Democrat of Florida, and Nancy Mace, Republican from South Carolina. Legislation that, if they passed it, would create a pathway for Britney Spears and other people to replace their private guardian or conservator. So it basically it argues for more accountability. It argues that we need more data on this stuff. Like you were saying, how like no one knows how much money is tied up in this. No one knows how many people are trying to get out of these. Yeah. There's just like, it's shockingly, I don't want to just say willy-nilly because that's probably not fair, but understudied at least.
Underobserved.
Yeah, underobserved for sure. So as of now, in order to get out of a conservatorship, you have to prove fraud or abuse that has occurred to have that be replaced. And this bill would kind of roll that back and say it doesn't necessarily have to be abuse or fraud. It could just be that they don't aren't comfortable with it. Their emotional
Yeah.
well-being is not being met or whatever. And just to make it a little bit easier to free someone up from these conservatorships. And so we'll see. There was one a few years ago in 2019 that didn't get beyond the House Judiciary Committee, but everyone's kind of thinking with all this attention right now because of Britney Spears case that they might have a little momentum to get something like that done.
Oh yeah, big time. Like
It's called the Free Act, by the way. I know, appreciate the acronym.
Hashtag
Freedom.
free?
No, Freedom and Right to Emancipate from Exploitation Act.
Oh, okay, all right. I can respect like bending over
not bad.
backwards a little bit to make that work. That was all right.
Okay.
I think, Chuck, also one of the reasons why they have erred to this point on the side of making it more difficult to remove a conservator is because they've kind of there's like maybe a suspicion that, you know, you could have a fight or a falling out or something like that over something totally unrelated to the conservatorship. And, you know, the person could be like, that's it, you're not my conservator anymore. I want you out of my life or whatever. And the person might be great as their conservator. And it might be a really good conservatorship, but it just, you know, there was that moment or that falling out. So in that sense, it should be made difficult. But then on the other hand, it's like, is that really the way we should be erring? Should we be erring toward, you know, away from the rights and the desires of the person whose life and responsibilities for their life has been taken away from them? Like, shouldn't they at least have the right to choose who's calling the shots for them, who's making those decisions for them? And I think ultimately, I kind of lean toward the rights of the individual.
Yeah, I mean, it also makes you wonder about, you know, if let's say there's no kids involved and it's a case of someone abusing drugs or something, like, it is an interesting slippery slope to think about whether an adult has a right to throw their life away.
Yes,
and make bad decisions, or whether or not it should be legal for someone to be able to step in and save somebody. It's like, that's just really, I don't even know how I feel about it. It's just an interesting thought experiment.
I came across something called the right to risk, where basically it's exactly what you just said. Like, everybody has the right to just blow it completely, including a fortune, including fame, including, you know, alienating loved ones, doing whatever you want to ruin your own life, that you have that right. But I think the law recognizes that there are some mental states that a person can enter to where they wouldn't otherwise want to do those things. And I think that's what the people who are running Britney's conservatorship are saying, that like Britney isn't capable of keeping people who would unduly influence her to throw her life away at bay. She can't keep those people at bay. She doesn't understand the documents that she's signing. And then there's whispers or like hushed rumors of, like, no, the real reason she'll probably be in a permanent conservatorship is because there's some diagnosed mental illness that is just sealed because it's a medical record.
Right.
And that's kind of like what gets leaked out on the conservatorship side. So I don't know. I think having like an attorney that is of her choosing, who's sharp, that is working for her and her alone, getting into this and really finding out what's what and going into court. I think that would be I think that'll be a really, I'm interested to see what the outcome of that is.
I don't see how that couldn't be a good step, at least, to have more investigation done by someone of her choosing. Yeah,
because for years, apparently, her big problem was not with being under a conservatorship. It was her dad being the conservator.
Right.
And so he was co-conservators with a couple of people, and she apparently even was fine with one of them for a little while. But then they resigned because she said she wasn't fine with them any longer. And then now it's just back to her dad being in total sole control. So I wonder if her dad is forced out and it's just strictly like lawyers and fiduciaries who are in charge of her conservatorship, if she would be like, no, this is fine. I'm fine with this. I wonder.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that and this legislation as they kind of go hand in hand.
Absolutely. You got anything else?
I got nothing else. I do want to shout out my pal Babs Gray, Barbara Gray and Tess Barker are two comedians in LA, and they were in that documentary and have championed Britney's case for a while, and they have a new podcast out. And it's called, they had one called Britney's Instagram, the podcast. But now they have a new one called Toxic, and boy, if we could get our new Barbershop Quartet inserted there, that'd be great. The Britney Spears story. So that's getting a lot of attention right now.
Cool. Yeah, they're all over the place right now. So big ups.
Big ups.
If you want to know more about conservatorships and Britney Spears and Lance Bass, well, you can just start searching the internet and jump down that rabbit hole and see what happens. And since I said that, it's time, of course, for listener mail.
I'm going to call this Cool Job That I've Never Heard Of. This is from one of our Irish friends.
Oh, yeah, I love this one.
Hey, guys, first things first, thanks for a really great podcast. I've been listening every day since my first day as a delivery driver 5 years ago in Dublin, Ireland. I spend the week driving all over the country, and you've been my companions. Last week I came across the episode Jobs from a Bygone Era, a classic, and I wanted to share with you a job my great-grandfather did that definitely applies. He worked in Dublin City as a knocker-upper.
And I was like, wait, what?
A knocker-upper was a job that existed at a time after the Industrial Revolution, but before alarm clocks were widely available to the poorest that filled the factories with workers. For a tiny weekly fee, a knocker-upper was employed to knock on doors or tap on windows. It's like a wake-up call in a hotel, basically.
Exactly.
They usually used a pole or a long stick or bamboo to tap on the bedroom windows. There's great pics online of a famous lady in London using a pea shooter. My great-grandfather, though, was an even rarer breed, as he was known as a knocker-upper's knocker-upper.
That's niche.
He was employed by the other knocker-uppers to wake them up. Wow. So they could go and wake up the customers all over the city. Eventually, they were all put out of business when the country went electric. Cheap alarm clocks hit the market, but they were a snapshot in time and provided much-needed service. Wanted to share this little bit of social history with you guys. After everything you've given me, I look forward to a live show in Ireland sometime. Mike, we'd love to come back to Ireland. We did that show in
that was fun
in Dublin, and it was one of the best.
Yeah, that's a pretty great email, Mike. Thank you for that. Hey, I have a little anecdote about Knocked Up.
About Knocked Up?
Yeah, so when Yumi was little, she thought knocked up meant you were in trouble, like you were grounded.
Yeah.
And it led to at least one case of hilarity
cute.
with her dad asking where her friend was, and Yumi said, "Oh, she's knocked up. She can't come out."
Oh, boy.
Her dad was like, "What?
She can't come out for 9 months.
This is like 9 or 10 years old, I think." So,
wow, that's
pretty
very
good
cute
stuff. So thanks, Mike. Thanks, little Yumi. And thank you guys for listening. And if you want to get in touch with us like Mike did, you can send us an email to stuffpodcast@iheartradio.com.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
You know, you could be adored by everyone and still completely ignored by your cat. Trust me, I know. But if you feed your cat Sheba, you can go from being ignored to truly adored in 12 days, guaranteed, or your money back. Sheba has a full menu of products, appetizers, entrees, treats, even a kitten's menu. It's so cute. So Sheba has a product for even the pickiest eater. Like Sheba Puree, it's made with bone broth, they are chef-inspired flavors, it's got a smooth and creamy texture that cats love, and contains no corn, wheat, soy, or artificial flavors. It's food that your cat's gonna love. To learn more, check out Sheba.com. That's SHEBA.com. If audiobooks are your thing and you've been meaning to listen to more of them, you should check out a podcast called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Club, hosted by Cal Penn. Each episode spotlights standout audiobooks on Audible across all kinds of genres: sci-fi, comedy, romance, thrillers, and more, with Cal talking to guests who help break down what makes each story worth listening to. It's a fun, easy way to discover your next great audiobook. Check out Earsay on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.